Hey friends, Sheila here. I am a nutritionist and nature lover currently cycling my way across Europe, and today we're talking about my 5 favorite things about cycling in the Czech Republic. Number 1 is the incredibly kind and helpful people I met along the way. Before I left for the Czech Republic, a lot of people mentioned to me that outside of Prague, there isn't a lot of English speaking. I did actually find a lot of people outside of Prague that spoke a bit of English, but I also found that even if I met someone who didn't speak English, they were still so willing to try and help me however they could, and that usually resulted in us playing some elaborate game of charades. I'd be like, is that route good? And they'd be like, yes, that route is good. Or no, that route is garbage. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a bit here because it is charades after all, but you know, you kind of get the gist. And it wasn't even just me always starting the conversation. Sometimes somebody would come up and they'd start talking to me and I'd be like, I'm so sorry, I don't speak much Czech. And they'd be like, that's okay, where are you going? And I'd be like, I'm going to Munich. And they'd be like, wow, that's far. You go, girl. I mean, I'm not exactly sure if that's what the 7-year-old Czech farmer said to me, but probably. You go, girl. I think it's a pretty decent translation. Number 2, their hello is ahoy. Like, it's spelt A-H-O-J, but it's pronounced ahoy. So just imagine you're cycling up a hill and you're hot and you're exhausted, and then a bunch of little kids wave at you and go, ahoy! Like, how can that not put you in a good mood? And you know, in English, I feel like we borrow the way of saying hello and goodbye from a lot of other languages. Like, we'll say ciao or adios. But I really feel like we should all just be saying ahoy. Because is there really a more fun way to say hello than ahoy? I don't think so. Number 3 is the bike routes. I found the bike routes in the Czech Republic to be incredibly well labeled, and there were a lot of them. Now, I cycled in the north and the west of the Czech Republic, so of course I cannot speak for all of the Czech Republic, but I did find that the bike routes I used were incredibly well labeled, the roads were very well paved, and it wasn't necessarily always bike lanes, but it was a network of pathways on smaller roads, so you could get to a lot of different places really easily and clearly. It really felt like every intersection I got to would be like paths 3A and 46 this way, path 8 this way. Really, really helpful to get around. Number 4 is Prague. Prague is such a beautiful city. There is so much history there. There is so much to see. Now, technically, I did not find it the easiest to cycle in Prague. It definitely can be done, but there are a lot of streetcar tracks, there are a lot of people, and there's a good amount of cobblestones. However, there is a bike route that goes right through Prague, so it is really convenient to get to Prague by bike. It is really convenient to get out of Prague by bike, and you can, of course, cycle around in Prague. I personally decided to do more walking in Prague, but depending on your comfort level, you might really like cycling in Prague as well. But whether you decide to bike or walk, if you are doing any kind of cycle trip in the Czech Republic, Prague is a beautiful city and one I would definitely not want to miss. And number 5 is Bohemian Switzerland. Not to be confused with actual Switzerland. Before I got to the Czech Republic, I was staying in Dresden, which is in eastern Germany, and I was staying with a warm showers host. If you aren't familiar with warm showers, it is basically like couch surfing, but for cyclists. And I was staying with this family in Dresden, and the woman was like, oh yeah, we just got the train back from Bohemian Switzerland today. And then, you know, tomorrow we're gonna go pick up our son who's on a camping trip in Bohemian Switzerland. I was like, man, they're really chill about driving all the way to Switzerland. But no, Bohemian Switzerland is actually at the northern part of the Czech Republic, and it is absolutely gorgeous. To get from Dresden to Prague, I biked along the Elbe River, which is called the Labe River in the Czech Republic, and it has this beautiful cycle route. Most of it is purely cycle paths all along the river. Some of it's on quiet residential roads. It's flat, which is always lovely as a cyclist, and it's this beautiful route all the way from Dresden to Prague, and on it you go through Bohemian Switzerland, and it is just forests and mountains and cliffs on either side. There are towns built into some of the cliffs. It would also be an amazing place to take a couple days and do some hiking. I just cycled through it on my way to Prague, but I absolutely loved it. So those are my 5 favorite things about cycling in the Czech Republic. There is beautiful nature there, incredibly kind people, and so much history. I absolutely loved my time there. If you have any further questions about cycling in the Czech Republic, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer any questions if I can. If you like this video, please give it a like, really supports my channel, and if you want to be notified whenever I put out new videos, hit subscribe and the little bell below. Have a good one.